Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Hey, today I'm going to do something that I absolutely do not know whether I can do or not. But I see that other people are doing it. So I'm going to give it a whirl. And nobody has given up too much information about it. But if I can get it done, I'm going to show you how to do it. It's just, people are doing it, but so far I haven't seen any videos on it or heard any detailed information about how to do it. What I'm thinking about is on the AT-90 YL100 Twin Jet 100, changing this over to electronic ignition instead of the points. Actually, let me back up. We're going to do a points eliminator, and we'll see if we can get that done. We're going to get rid of the points and condensers, and we'll see what we can figure out for this. But from what I can tell, everybody's being pretty tight-lipped about it. There's a little bit of information out there, but if I can figure it out, I'll show you how to do it. That's just the way I am. So let me get you overhead here. We'll get started on it. All right. This is what I came up with. And somebody did mention that you get the backing plate for a four-cylinder. I think it's a KZ-1000 Kawasaki. I'm guessing that it doesn't really make a whole lot of difference what it's off of or what it's for. You get this piece here, which these evidently are your points eliminator, and you get a rotor. And we've got a little magnet here on that. But there's not much to it. This is it. So the first thing I'm going to do is start removing the points and all the garbage here on top, and just see what we can come up with. It's not a big deal, I don't think. Maybe it is. We will see. Let me get another screwdriver here. If I can't get it done, then we'll just go back to points. There's the right side. Okay, we've got all the stuff off of there. And that's everything we took off. So let's take a look at all this. First thing I see is it's too big. So we're going to have to cut down quite a bit of it, actually. So I'm thinking it probably doesn't matter a whole lot, the orientation. It's how you get it to fit. It should be a pretty simple thing. And of course this is going to go down, and as far as I know, shouldn't have to modify this because the piece comes up out of the original lobe, comes up out of there, and then we'll just have to see what happens here. Let me grab that. Okay, here's the lobe, and it fits on the end of the armature. And let's see here. Wow, that fits pretty nice on there. Looks like maybe, I'm sure this has got to line up pretty good with these pickups on here. You know, you got a little magnet here on this side. So I'm kind of thinking if this is our alignment, then one of these are. I'm looking at this right now, and I think probably we're going to have to chuck this up in the lathe and take a little bit out of the inside so that this will, you know, this is actually fitting this really well. It's pretty tight. So if we can get this piece here on the end to go in and fit just as tight and come all the way up to just there probably, but then we'll have to see whether or not we have to remove a little bit off the bottom or off the top or whatever when we get all this to line up. So it's an interesting thing. You know, to let you know, I spent $48 for this, shipped to my door, and I got it off of eBay, and we'll just see. I'm just looking at this, and I think we're going to have to do some cutting down to get it. We want it to fit and be centered in these original captures, tabs, whatever you might want to call it there. These, well, we can probably make a slot for those. I don't know. We don't want to take it off. We don't want to change this so that we can't reverse it, go back to our points. So whatever modifications we do, we're going to do to this piece. So let me think about this a little bit, and we'll see what we can come up with. Okay, measuring this, and looks like we've got about 3.156 that we've got to get this down to. Looks like, just roughly, looks like everything ought to clear okay, I think. So I've taken a picture of this to kind of show its orientation, because the first thing I've got to do is I've got to make this plate fit. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these, and hopefully I can get them back pretty much where I need them. I don't think it really matters too much. Well, that's just goes down there. Looks like they use some kind of a compound there, probably to help with grounding, be my guess. I like experimenting on stuff. I don't like it when it doesn't work though. Okay. So this piece here, we need to make fit here, and then we'll have to cut some slots. Try to use our existing screws. But I believe the first thing that's on the agenda is trying to get this down to size. I should be able to put this in my lathe, chuck it up on the inside. Probably what I'll do is cut these ears, just roughly cut them off so I don't have an interrupted cut. And that'll get it close anyway. All right, let me see what I can do. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, I think, is just use this stator to kind of give me a rough cutting point here. It may not work all that great after all. No, don't think it's going to. Will for the short ones. This is just rough. Once it's set up in the lathe, we'll center off of the center, and that way we should be okay. Okay, I just got it here kind of guesstimating, trying to get it close. I think that'll do it. Just use a compass like we used in, well, like I used in school. I'm sure you guys, a lot of you didn't. And I'm off a little bit here on my... Anyway, it's just got to be close, and then it'll true up. We may have to make a mandrel to hold that, but we'll get it done. Okay guys, on our mandrel here, I had some problems originally, but I think I've got it all worked out now. We've made this. What I'll do is I'll spin out a pretty wide washer that goes right behind that. That'll give this a little more rigidity. And I'll also put one on this other side. But see, this is very tight fit. Like I said, I'll put another washer here. I'll have to make that one with both of those with this dimension here. And this side will be a little thicker because I want to get out past this, but not, by the time I get the two washers on there, it won't be much. But I've got a 3/4 inch, I've run out my maximum size here to 3/4 of an inch, and I've got a 3/4 16 nut that I'm going to go ahead and cut threads on here for. So I'll go ahead and pull all this off for the time being. And now if you're doing this, I like to put a kind of a ditch here in the end, so that when I do my threading, that when I get to the end of it, I have a place for it to just kind of sit there and spin. Now, if you're doing this for something that's going to be high stress, you don't want to use a squared off cutting tool or cut off tool like I'm using. You'd want a rounder type affair so you don't have the possibility of cracks or something starting in there. But for this, it's going to be good, and I need to get close to this shoulder anyway, so that's what we're going to do for this one. I just want a little bit of a ditch there for my tool to just kind of rest in as I get there. Yeah, that's probably good. I'm just going to put a little color on this so I can check my thread. Gives it a little contrast. And I'm going to get down here just where I'm touching. I think right there is going to be good. And I'm set up for turning 16 threads per inch, and that's what I want. And I've checked that with my thread gauge here and just got into the nut that I have, and that fits in there just right. So that's what we need to turn to get that to work. All right, let's see what we got here now. And that's what the little ditch is for right there. See, my tool is just sitting in there spinning and it's not cutting anything. That's what I want. Okay, I'm going to back out and move it back. And at this point, we'll check to see if our threads look the same here. And they do. That's good. So we'll get set up here to do the next trip through. Okay, I'm just going to put a little tap magic on here. And we get ready to go for the next trip through. Should be it. Well, it looks like I need a little more depth, but I'm checking my line as I go. Everything looks good. Oops, I don't want to do that. I want to back out here first. Okay. Now we'll increase it a little bit and go again. Okay, now we're cutting the thread and it's right back where it was. Back, out, and I'll increase that a couple thou, and we'll go through again. Back it out, run it out, and go for another one. And I'll just keep going here until I get my fit with the nut that I've got. I think we're getting close here. It's pretty good, I think. Maybe I'll just do a spring pass on it, and that should be good. And we'll just take that spring pass so it just kind of cleans that up. Okay. And let's see what it does now. Oh yeah. Well, it looks like we still get tight up there. Better take another trip through. A little bit too snug yet. Yeah. Still need a little bit. Okay, let's give it a try now. Yeah. Nice. Goes all the way up. Feels good. All right, let me get some washers made. Just going to step up to 1 inch here. got to go to 1 1/8. So I'll have to use the boring bar to finish up the hole. I'm going to cut these down to about 2.5 inches. This is 3-inch stock. Should be able to get a couple nice washers out of this. It looks like all we need here, we need to fit in between here. So I'm at about 3160 or so, 3158. So my washers, probably the bigger the better, they'll give it more rigidity. So I think I'm going to stop there. So this is basically the diameter that we need for the plate. So these washers are going to be at about 2850. So that should be good. Bigger the better. It'll give that little piece of aluminum that's sandwiched between it a little more rigidity, and that's always good. So I'll just go ahead and cut 2 washers the way it is right now. All right, let's go ahead and cut a couple washers out of this. Should be getting close. Should be going here pretty quick. Just about through. There it is. That's really going to be hot. I'm not touching that. Okay, so here's our mandrel, and I've got the one washer on the back here, and we just go ahead and put the other one here, and it fits over that shoulder also, and then just a regular washer, and then our nut. And you can tell that, you know, by looking at all the stuff that is cylindrical, that this here, from where we cut it out on the bandsaw, leaves quite a bit to be desired. So it should be a lot better after we get done here. And we'll have to cut one flat spot on it too. Okay, so we've got that tightened in there. And let's see if we can tighten it up with our wrench here. There, that should be sufficient. And now we'll just see how uncylindrical that is. Yeah. See, we got quite a bit of cleanup to do on that. Let me reposition you here. Okay, let's see. We'll just take a little bit at a time here until we can get down past this interrupted cut, because it is still pretty thin. You know, you could do all this with a sander too. It's the only reason I'm doing it this way is because I've got the equipment. But you could center yourself off the hole in the middle and use a protractor and just draw you a line out here and just go from there. But since I've got the equipment, I'm doing it this way. I think we just about got it evened up here. It looks like we got most of it out. We're going to have to take away most of that that's sticking out there. Yeah, that's good, clean cut all the way around now. We've got to go to about 3/158. So you can tell right there how far we've got to go yet. Probably, oh gosh, good 1/4 of an inch yet. So I've got quite a bit to go on this. Okay, we're real close to breaking through there. I don't think I don't think we need that for any reason. Okay, I'm at 31:56.5. So right at 31:57, that's what I'm saying I need. So I think we'll take it out, and I'll probably just take, let me get this kind of back a little ways. I'm going to clean up around it a little with the file. Just a little bit on the inside. And a little bit on the outside. Just to take that razor sharpness away. and we'll take it off and see where we're at. There's our plate. We just almost went through there. I'm not sure what that, I can't remember what that does. Probably has no effect on the application that we're dealing with. Okay, let's go over there and check it out. Okay, looks like we're about right on our diameter. And like I said before, we're going to have to cut kind of a slice off the top here. And I'm thinking that needs to be oriented just about like that. So I've got a red mark here and a red mark here, and we'll just cut straight across. So I think that's where we're at. And I think that's where I'll cut right there, and that should get us below these wires here. Kind of what I'm thinking anyway. So, you know, if it's wrong, it's wrong, but we can always make another plate if we have to. But I think we're okay. So let me get over to the bandsaw and we'll cut her off. All right, let's get this trimmed off. Kind of the point of no return. Okay, got this pretty well lined out. I need to find where to put my adjustment screws in, and I've just marked it here. This is the existing hold downs for the points, and you probably saw this kind of rattling. You know, it's these things are part of the adjustment for the points. That's where they slide right here. I'm not going to use those, and I probably can just put a washer. It seems to be about right underneath the plate at the hold down areas. And that way it keeps it from rocking, and we don't have to grind away at those or anything. I want to keep it so that it can go back to original. So that's part of my goal here. So what I need to do now is find the location for my slots, and I've got them marked here. I'm just going to take and put a little marker right back here, kind of where they are. And this one here, that should get me in the ballpark, I think. And it looks like it's about dry. So this is our cutout up here, so I'll put that pretty much like, I'm sure it'll go up a little bit, but hopefully that'll be close enough. I'm just going to take a 90-degree scribe here and go up underneath, and then just kind of move it. And then turn it around, do the other side too. Hopefully I can get some indication there. Yeah, not bad. Okay, so that's where I need to put my screws, or my slot. And what I'll do is just set this up in the, you could just drill a hole and use a Dremel tool and cut that. But I've got the milling machine and the super spacer, so I'll probably just do it on there, and that way it'll look nicer. So that gives me kind of a spot to start anyhow. Okay, I've got the one slot in on the other side, and we're going to go ahead and get this one started. This is thin enough I can go right into that. And I just put a piece of wood under it. And this is just an estimate on my part. Kind of like the other thing I did. And I know this light sometimes is too much, so I'll kind of run a little bit of it this way just in case, so you can kind of see what I'm doing. That just keeps my slot consistent all the way around. Okay, we hope that's good. All right, got my tube washers right here to bring it up from those things, the guides, I guess you want to call them. And looks like everything's lined up fairly well. So there we go. That will give us some adjustment. If we have to go way up here, we'll have to trim a little bit more, but as of right now, I think we're looking pretty good. There we go. Now we've just got to get our magnet in there. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to make one of these. This is kind of, it's an eccentric, so it actually goes in there pretty good down to this piece, but I'm just afraid it's going to be giving me an eccentric, so I'll make another one of these, and I'll be able to cut this right in there in the new piece so we can get the timing correct. I'm not real sure how this is going to have to be adjusted, but I think we can get her done. Think so. So I think that's it for today, and I'll see what we need to do with this piece and get started on that tomorrow maybe. Okay guys, there you have it. I think we're running pretty long here, so I'll try to get it finished up tomorrow. But it looks like things are going to work out, you know, but we've still got to hook wires up and make things fit. So it's all part of the project, and it's so far it's a fun project. So we'll see where it goes, but we're going to call it a day, and we'll get back on it tomorrow. So thanks for going along on the ride, and we'll see you next video.